Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching KUTV Kenya Kama Kawaida. My good name is Karen Blessing, and this is Art and Culture Monday. And we were just taking a look at the awards at Women in Film Awards 2023. And hatujamaliza, like you can see, we still have a few more awards to go. Of course, congratulations to every winner. And I like a tagline in Women in Film Awards that all of the women nominated are already winners, because we are doing amazing work out there. So congratulations to every winner, to every nominee. You guys are doing amazing in the film industry in this country. But for now, we want to go on to this other side and talk to Dr. Zippy Okoth and talk to just about how amazing I am still starstruck about this conversation that we are about to have, because Dr. Zippy is doing phenomenally in this industry. So we are going to be having that conversation shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The long-awaited conversation with Dr. Zippy, and she is here. You are looking amazing in orange.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Karibu sana to KUTV,
That's
to Art and Culture Monday. I'm very happy to be the one hosting you this morning. See you, tusalimie tuambie bebe ni nani, though we know you, like I said. We just want her to say hi, and we'll dive right into the reason why she is here.
Yes. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Zippy Okoth, and I'm very glad to be here. I am a filmmaker.
Yes.
I am a theater artist, a storyteller, and I am a lecturer of film and theater arts at KCA University. Yes.
Amazing. Karibu sana. Karibu to KUTV. I know you have been here in these vicinities before.
Yeah.
So let's start from the very beginning. When did you decide this art is what you wanted to do with your life?
I think from the very beginning, it was already decided somewhere that this art is my life. Yeah, because when it comes to performance, I mean, every young child, they say is a performer, but I think there was something different in the way I performed, and I was always given, like, do you do this poem on prize giving day?
Yes.
The one who's going to do this role on maybe when there's an event or so.
Yes.
Even in church and all that, but. When I reached grade 4, nowadays that time was class 4, we had this kipindi cha watoto.
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth Omolo also came. There was the children's program right after. They were all happening on Saturday. So they came to our school all the way in Homa Bay.
Yes.
And I did this Swahili story. Then I did an English poem, and it was running on the KBC. And I was like, everyone was like, that's your voice, that's you, that's you.
Yes.
And then in class 7, I was the main actress in some play. It was called The Cherished Fruit. That was my first play ever.
Wow.
And we went up to the nationals.
Yes. Ooh.
So I can't really forget that
yes,
teacher.
You cannot forget your
who saw something,
Yes.
That was at Sango Academy. Then we went to Asumbi Girls High School. Asumbi Girls, Form 1, Form 2, we had some drama, but then drama was not very, very strong.
Yes.
So I can confidently, I'm not really a product of the National Drama Festival, because...
Not really?
Not really. I don't know, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I went to the university and I studied drama and theater studies at Maseno University, and that's where a lot of my talent came out. I knew I wanted theater, but through one of my lecturers, Mr. Otumba Uko, he kept pushing me to take bigger roles. He even pushed me to start singing. So this deep voice that since my childhood, people were like, she has a deep voice like a man.
Yes.
That people used to laugh about. He said, I can sing. And he gave me singing roles. And anytime I sang, the hall was pin drop silence.
I can imagine.
And it scared me.
Wow.
But he said, that is the thing. So I later on went for Spotlight on Kenyan Music. I was among the top 10 finalists with the Kina Sauti Soul, Macadam, and all that. And then I went and produced my own album, Tugolona Nendo, in 2006. Theater-wise, I have acted with Heartstrings Theater.
Yes.
I acted with Festival of Creative Arts immediately after coming from campus. And then I went and did my master's, University of Nairobi Gender and Development. So I worked with quite a number of NGOs in terms of mobilizing youth, empowering youth through theater. Yes, community outreaches. Then I came to Kenyatta University to do my PhD. And this is where I taught for 12 years.
12.
Yeah.
I told you guys, if you're in the art industry, you don't know Dr. Zippy, there's something that there is something that you have missed out on, real talent. So for 12 years, how was that experience here?
It was beautiful. I think I give quite a lot of credit to Olive Mogenda, because apart from being the vice chancellor, she really supported some of the works that I did when I was here.
Yeah.
I did my first biggest musical.
Yeah.
It was called Julieta, and Professor Olive. That was in the year 2013. We were celebrating 50 years of Kenyan independence, and as Kenyatta University, there was the biggest musical. We showed it at the amphitheater, and we had a lot of people from outside. Then we took it to the National Theater. It was the biggest, best musical, I think, using music from the 60s to that time, intertwined into a story. And she supported the cast and crew, and I think for me that gave me something, it gave me a voice. I was like, I can do this as big as it is.
Yes.
And so in 2015, I started doing my own independent theater productions. So I did Tigo, the musical. We did Contract Love as a theater musical.
Yes.
There's also another play I did. It's called A Catholic Girl's Guide to Breaking Your Virginity. I actually bought the rights to the script from some lady in the US. And then in 2018, I started doing my one-woman shows.
Yes.
So I did Stranger in My Bed.
Yes.
That was in February on Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day.
Of 2018.
Timing. Great timing for
I did
that
a
one.
divorce story on Valentine's Day.
A different spice, to the norm of Valentine's
It was sold
Day.
out. I was like, oh, people want to listen to a divorce story on Valentine's Day.
Great.
And then we did the Strange Voices.
Yes.
So, Stranger in My Bed was about my marriage, my physical abusive marriage.
Yeah.
And then Strange Voices was about divorce, because people think divorce is easy, but it isn't.
Yes.
So then after that, I did another one, Agatha, A Hopeless Romantic. I was reminiscing about me before marriage, the men I dated, how love was from a teenager to that time. And then last year, I did Side Chick Wife. Side Chick Wife is about cohabiting.
Yes.
Yeah, nowadays cohabiting has been made to sound so normal.
Yes.
But the truth is, I think women want more. Women want commitment than just cohabiting. So it was about that and all the laughter. And mine are usually dark comedy. That's what I call it. It's the truth, it's the bitter truth, but intertwined in some humor, because I believe the best stories are the ones that are our personal stories, which we are too scared to tell.
Exactly.
But then in it all, there's some humor when you look back and you're like, what exactly did I put myself in?
Exactly.
Then now we have Mama's Mirror.
Yes.
Mama's Mirror is about me and my mother. I was very close to my mother. My mother passed on in August of 2021. And
sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we had a very close relationship. And then as I grew older, when you're young, you keep thinking, Mama is different, Mama is like that. Then as you grow older, you're like, I have everything
that my mom is and more.
And more. The other day I was seated in the living room with my I have two lovely daughters.
Yeah.
And my mother used to like sitting like this.
Yeah.
And my daughter looked like, Mom, you look like Mama. They used to call my mother, their grandmother, Mama.
Yeah.
And say like, how? The way you're sitting, she used to like sitting like that. And I'm like, oh my God.
To the
littlest details, yeah. But they remember their grandmother with those little details. And they're like, I look like her in all that way. But even in personality, I'm very highly opinionated, and I know that.
Kind of one of the things that I do know about you. Very vocal about the things that you believe in.
Yeah.
True. So and your mom was like that?
She was more.
Yeah.
People who knew her, Dani from Mama Bay Town, Dorcas, she was highly opinionated, but she was also very hardworking, very generous, and And she was always out there.
Yeah.
I don't know any woman in that town who was more generous than my mother.
Yeah.
Up to date.
Wow.
Yes, she
That
was
is a
generous.
great quality.
To strangers and to people she knew.
Yes.
And I'm generous, but I don't think I've reached her level.
The level of generosity
I
is
can't.
yet to work its way up
I
there.
don't even think it can reach halfway.
Through it, but
Yeah.
amazing. So I'm getting the gist that you do your stories from personal experiences.
Yes.
Do you find that to be the best way to tell a story, like your story?
Yeah, people don't like talking about themselves.
Yes, that is true.
Because we are scared of being criticized.
Yes.
Yeah, I think for me it helped in a way. When I told my story the very first time,
Yes.
that was in 2018.
Yeah.
What people forget is that it was like 6 or 7 years after my divorce.
Yes.
So people are like, oh, you shouldn't share such a story and all that. But I'm like, I have healed. It was 6, 7 years after my divorce.
Yes.
So the beauty about telling your own story is that you realize that your story is never unique.
Yeah.
It is the way you tell it that's different.
Yes.
There are 1,000 people who've gone through divorce. There are 1,000 people who've gone through the same struggles.
Yes.
But people don't have the courage to talk because they will be criticizing. So what will people say? What will the world say? How will they see me as? I will lose friends. The truth is you lose friends whether you tell your story or not.
You lose friends anyway.
You lose friends anyway. If an opportunity was going to go, it will go anyway.
Yes.
Whether you tell your story or not. So tell your story, embody it, heal through it. For me, I always say, it's hard to say that you're gossiping about Zippy because she said it herself.
She has given us all the deeds, all the tea. So there is nothing more.
There's nothing more to gossip about.
Yes.
Yeah, but then in all honesty, I always think a lot of true stories are told and labeled as fiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
We creatives have a very nice way of doing that. And I think as little as that the tickets to such a story sold out, like that can already tell you very many people
are hungry for true stories.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or want to hear their stories told by another person.
Exactly.
Because how else can you explain, that people are interested in these stories that they're saying we shouldn't tell.
Yes.
But if you do tell them, they're very interested in knowing what happened.
Actually, after my shows, a lot of people come and say, oh, that's my story.
Yes.
Oh, you just talked about me. Oh, that was my life. Oh, my sister's going through the same. And when I hear that, I think it gives me some energy to always want to keep sharing those stories. The funny thing is, people always say, like, Zippy says too much. And I'm like, I've not even said 10%.
Of the things
I've
that
not even said 10% of the things that I should have said.
Yes.
So I'm always like, I have so much. But, generally creatives are very sensitive people. We are very, very sensitive. Then we have a picture memory. We don't forget things.
Yes.
So I can meet you 10, 20 years and I'll remember you are wearing this velvet green dress.
Yes.
And I'll remember all that details. And that's how our memory is. So even the things that happened to us like 10, 20 years ago, we'll be able to tell them. So it is the detail that we tell those stories. So even when we tell those stories, it's not even 10% because we are giving a detailed description of one moment or so.
Yes.
So if we were to tell our whole life,
we would have a
whole life.
show every week from Dr. Zippy, a show every week to really tell what has been going on.
Yes.
So the gist from, you've talked about divorce, then talked about love. Now we're talking about mom. How did you learn to talking about your mother? Because I know there are very many other stories you would write about.
Yeah.
Why Mama's Mirror right now in this time?
Why Mama's Mirror? I just turned 40.
Yes.
So proud.
You don't look a day older. You do not.
I have waited a lifetime to turn 40.
Well, here you are.
So I think 40 is kind of like an awakening.
Yes.
There is so much. I always say I am a 25-year-old with a 70-year experience because some of the things I feel I've gone through in my life
are worth 2 lifetimes.
Exactly. But I am here in actual 40 and I'm reflecting at a lot of things. And I think from last year when I started thinking about this idea is when I started feeling there's too much I'm reflecting about my mother. My mother grew up in Nairobi.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Here in Ziwani Estate. And my grandfather was a military man. He fought in World War II.
Yes.
And then they went to Ziwani. They lived there. So my mother was a city girl.
Yes.
Like she was even in magazine covers.
Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder a talent. No.
Yeah. So then she met my very handsome, quiet dad,
Yes.
and they went to live in Homa Bay, a small town.
Yes.
And this city girl taken to that small village.
Yes.
She made it big, like my mother made it big.
Yes.
Sometimes I look at her and like, if she was in Nairobi, man,
what would have become
exactly.
of her? Yeah.
So here I am. I am like, I came from the village
Yes.
to the city because I came to Nairobi like during my campus life.
Yes.
So I came to the city to look for a job.
Yes.
And all the stories, because my mother was a storyteller, all
Yeah.
the stories she told us about how when I was growing up,
Yeah.
my friends were in these are top adverts, and she used to tell us all those stories. And I come to the city and I see all this buzz,
Yes.
all this bustle of life, and I'm like, I want to be there.
At the top.
I want to be there
At the top of everything.
At the top of everything. I want to enjoy all this.
Yes.
And she kept motivating me like, you can do it. In Nairobi, you cannot suffer. You cannot say you don't have a job.
Yes.
Yeah, there are opportunities everywhere. And she never could calling a friend to help you get the job. No,
Yeah.
she tells you there are opportunities everywhere.
Yes.
Once somebody has planted that in your head that there are opportunities everywhere, you will see all those opportunities.
Exactly, because you come here with your eyes ready to see opportunities.
Exactly. So she made me see, the men that she used to talk about, the clubs, the life, and all that. So I am kind of like feeling, I am looking at her life. I'm kind of like living her life 40 years later. You get
Wow,
it?
yes.
Like we feel like things have changed, but truly they haven't changed.
Exactly.
We are the same people. It's only the buildings that have changed.
Yeah.
And but then even after I came to the city, when I got my child, my mother was deeply there for me. I remember when I lost my first child, I called my mother. She was there.
Yes.
The following day at 7 a.m., my mother was in my house. Like she didn't wait. Sometimes you can find people who plan.
Exactly.
Or let me plan. My mother, she did not wait to plan.
Yes.
She was there at 7 a.m. And I was like, hey, Mama, you've come. She was like, I had to be here for you.
Yes.
So for me, those are moments. And then, sorry about that.
Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, and then there are those moments like we could go home and we could go for drives.
Yes.
And those moments were like really intimate for me.
Yes.
There was this moment like the first time when I went to campus, day one. Actually, the other day, one of my friends whom we registered with her on day one of campus, the day you're registering on every desk.
Yes.
And then you're first here, you're scared of this situation. Then she's like, bring those papers of yours. Let's go to that queue. And they're like, who is this girl? And she took her paper and she went to that desk and asked, we have been waiting in the queue for too long. Where do we need to go? And those ladies filled out papers and they told us to go to the other side. Yeah. And so she said, since I was the first person to bring you to school, I'll be the one who will come and pick you. And she did exactly that.
Wow, she did keep her word.
She did keep her word.
Yes.
She bought for me my first suit.
Yes.
Which I graduated with. She bought me that one.
Yes.
She really helped me explore a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think my mother is the first person I talked about menstruation and sex.
Wow.
Yeah, because how she could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told us how she could go out and dance with people. And
You had a whole gift for a mother.
I had a whole gift for a mother.
Yeah.
She was not shy to talk about that. And yet, about people during her time, it was not easy for them to talk about sex.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I'm imagining I am 20-something.
Yes.
That means like way younger.
Yeah.
But still my mom, what are we going to talk about? You hosting or other things.
Yes.
And I really, really appreciate her for having those conversations with you.
Yeah.
So this story is definitely worth telling. If that is the kind of mom you had, I'm already wondering, why wasn't this sold in 2018? Like, Yes,
Yeah.
and the emotion that is interweaved into all of everything that happened.
Exactly.
And I think that is the gift for creatives. You're able to remember distinctly about that important moment in your life. I think if this is not convincing you enough to come watch Mama's Mirror, I don't know what will. I honestly do not know what will, and I hope that you will show up and come and tell the story. So how does it end? Like, where we have talked about how Mom has contributed in your life. As you tell that story on and on, where does it end?
It never ends.
Yes.
Because you see, even as a young girl, I remember one day, you know, the way parents used to lie to people, like, oh, you're going with me? Okay, go and get a jacket.
That's bad.
Go and get a jacket, then you come and I come waiting for you. I remember one day she tried that trick on me.
Yes.
That day, I remember I used to love some t-shirt which had black and white stripes.
Yes.
And I went and got my jacket very fast. Right before they opened the gate and they had closed the door to go.
Yes.
My dear, I sat on the ground and I said, Mama! Do you know she got out of the car?
Yes.
I had to be taken.
You had to. The tricks were not working on you anymore.
So now the story doesn't stop because my children, right now, I always say, if I have to go, I have to look at them in the eye and I tell them, goodbye, I'm going, I'll come back in the evening at this time, because I know.
Because they're not taking no for an answer.
And they're not going to take no for an answer. So the story never ends because even though she's gone, my mom is gone, but sometimes I think we communicate in a way. You know, people will tell you like Christianity. I am such a staunch Christian.
Yes.
But I am also very spiritual in terms of like I'm very deep in African spirituality.
Yes.
I still feel my mother's voice, especially if right now I need to make a decision.
Yes.
I can sit and say, Mama, I need a decision. I will feel.
You will feel it.
I'll feel it. I'll feel her voice or something will happen and I will know this is her talking to me.
Wow. So that means the story continues. As you know, as you go on in your life, you're like reliving. Like they say, change is the only constant thing. You realize the things that were will be and have been. There's really nothing new. I like your way of storytelling. Talk to me about stand-up. Like, because you can tell your story is in very many different formats, in forms. Why stand-up?
Why stand-up?
Yes.
Stand-up liberates the mind. When I did my first two shows, they were not stand-up.
Yeah.
I did them in terms of like, it was not a one-man show. It was a monologue, like enactment set and all that.
Okay.
I script all my stories though, but there's a freedom that stand-up gives you. You don't feel restricted. Yes, and then also with the audience, it breaks the third wall. Breaking the third wall is like, the audience feels like you are not in another world of theater. The audience are right here with you. They feel like
they're in the same.
Like if Zippy needs a hug, I can walk up there and hug her in the middle of this story and go back to my seat.
Yes.
So it creates an openness and a reality that that I really love, because especially when it comes to storytelling, I say I'm not a comedian. The people laugh a lot during my shows, but I'm not a comedian. I am a storyteller. Yes, because I want to take my time for people to dig in depth into the feelings, into the emotions. Because when you come to my show, you won't just laugh. I think you'll cry as much as you will laugh. Yes, that's an assurity. Yes, you'll. At the end of the day, you're not so sure. What was that feeling? What exactly was I feeling? Was I feeling like you'll feel some emptiness, you'll feel some fullness, you'll feel some sadness, some happiness, because I mix in all those emotions. Yes, so the show itself is wholesome. You come out of there having felt everything you could possibly feel. And I think that's what happens with a lot of stand-up shows, storytellers. Yes. Because we connect to them. We feel like this story is true, it's real, they're here with us. They're not having any other props to support them. Yes. They are connecting to the audience directly, and that's for me why it's stand-up. Why storytelling. Stand-up, exactly. I am intrigued because I think I have been in theater for a number of times, but even the monologues that are there are just brief, brief in support of whatever else is going on. So I am excited to come to a stand-up and sit down and feel all the emotions
And I hope that all of you guys who are watching are going to make a point of coming to Dr. Zippy's show. It will be worth every penny. Every penny of yours is going to be
every
worth
moment.
it. And every moment. Thank you. Not just your money. And every moment. I want us, before we get to the where, when, I want you to talk to me about women in film. Generally, how do you think we are doing? Or how do you think
we have
women are
grown.
doing?
We have grown. We have done so much in the last few years. Initially, women were not getting all the support they could.
Yes.
Because when you want to be a producer, director, everybody doubts you. One, are you married? Do you have children? I don't want to employ a woman here because 10 days on set, her husband will call her children will need her.
Yeah.
They are always, beyond the professionalism. They start.
Yes.
Then they come like, if you're a woman, you cannot be on the technical crew because it is heavy work and all that.
Yes.
So women have always been judged and not given equal opportunity. Even pay. Women are never given even equal pay as men.
As their male
the male counterpart. And this is not just even in Kenya, even abroad, even in Hollywood, it happens a lot of times.
Yes.
So I believe we are at a very great space. We are making great strides to it. I'll always give myself a pat on the shoulder that when we were doing midlife crisis, is it 80 or 90% of crew were
women. Wow.
All cast.
Yes.
In the cast, it was all the four ladies were women, except one guy.
Yes.
But in the crew, 80%
all of them
were women. Yes.
Amazing. So we are doing well.
We are doing well. And right now we have the Women in Film Awards.
Yes.
I think that recognition is giving